Hi, my name is Noam Meir. I am the CEO of the Charney Forum for New Diplomacy. With us today is Yariv Sultan, Strategic Solutions Consultant for Nonprofits and consultant on leadership, negotiations, persuasions, decision-making, and fundraising. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Noah. It's a pleasure.
What do you foresee as the potential implications on globalization and international relations as a result of the coronavirus?
I'm afraid we've seen too little international cooperation during the crisis. On the contrary, and perhaps understandably, we are witnessing international competition for resources, such as ventilators and medical supplies. We see embargoes of countries, and who knows what's next. If the crisis continues, what will be with international food deliveries and other supplies? Would stronger countries, and one should think how we define a stronger country than others, would they prevail over somewhat weaker countries? What will be the consequences? And I'm very worried about that.
Do you foresee the continued weakening of government as a result of the coronavirus, alongside the strengthening of non-government actors?
I think that we're going to see a shift between the responsibilities and balance between government and non-governmental actors. Let me give you a few examples. Let's talk about the single most important factor during crisis management. It's the magic word, trust. Therefore, during the current COVID-19 crisis, whom do we trust? Do we trust the central government? Do we trust local authorities, NGOs? Do I trust my own community where I live? That's the first and foremost issue. The second factor is solidarity. During his presidential campaign, Bill Clinton used to say, "I feel your pain." And it came through very authentically. I'm asking myself as a citizen now, does the government feel the pain? Does it show solidarity? Who lends a hand to the less fortunate groups in our society in this time of crisis? Well, in my country, I believe non-governmental actors, as well as many individuals and businesses, are playing a huge role right now in showing solidarity, and are much more agile and attentive to, if you want to call it, the collateral damage than the central government. Therefore, there's a shift of trust between the government to non-governmental organizations. The third factor one could think of is the sense of law and order. As long as people trust the system and feel a genuine solidarity, law and order would prevail. If those are compromised, it could lead to a slippery slope. And last but surely not least, a parameter is time. No one really knows how long this crisis would prevail. Hence, the next question is, how long would people accept this new setup? We feel and we experience lockdowns, limitations on personal freedom, huge financial crisis on top of health-related one, etc. So the short answer to this is this new world which would emerge would be a new mix of official and unofficial bodies working even closer for the public good. Governments would have to listen more and cooperate more closely than before with NGOs, and NGOs must step up to the plate and serve in a more professional, business-oriented capacity their own beneficiaries. I'm not sure it's a question of strengthening or weakening. I think it's a balance shift between the two.
What do you foresee as some potential opportunities that can grow out of the crisis of the coronavirus?
Every crisis serves as an opportunity. First is perhaps the understanding that technology is not enough. Home and business video meetings were available before the crisis, yet in 2019 I enjoyed 51 flights. So as we are forced now to keep physical distance, and by the way, I hate the word social distance, and I think it is the wrong one, we had to change our behavior and use the technology at hand. So the opportunity I see is to look at behavior change as a model we need to explore more often now. Perhaps some can think of renegotiating classical and perhaps outdated models. One thinks of distant learning and home office as examples. Also, family and work converge in a different way. Roles within family might shift for better or for worse. I think that we will see framing of the international arena in a different way. What roles do international organizations like the World Health Organization play now? And do all members agree on the same method? Is it an opportunity to revisit the question of international organizations? How can non-governmental organizations play a more significant role in sharing knowledge and experience? Something which really strikes me time and again, it's creativity strives in times of crisis. Two examples is one, automotive companies and military-oriented industries are producing now life-saving respirators and ventilators. Who would thought about that? And from a social perspective, an NGO I know that is treating children with disabilities is now catering to the parents, and they became the recipients of the video conference treatment. So I think creativity really strives in this time of crisis.
What steps do you think we can take as a society in order to increase our resilience during such a time of crisis?
Resilience is a factor for our society. So I think of several things we need to think of. The main issue for me is moral. It's a moral issue. And it goes back to the factors we've discussed before: trust, solidarity, and law and order. I would like people to ask more questions. Don't accept anything for granted. I'm trying to educate my kids that it is good to challenge the teachers, by the way, the parents as well. But it is good for children to ask questions. I don't want them to be indoctrinated. I suggest we all get involved in our community, in an NGO, in politics. Don't be a bystander. Just get involved in whatever position you can think of. As we speak about moral, we need to reach out for those in need, but prefer giving them fishing rods and not fish whenever possible. And beware of the slippery slopes. I'm afraid that we are seeing in some places in the world some dangerous slippery slopes, a reduction of freedom of movement. We hear different political leaders preach to their own choir. In order to keep our resilience, we should be very beware of those slippery slopes.
What advantage do you think that the Charney Forum for New Diplomacy has as a hybrid of academia and a practical, hands-on sort of program?
Well, the Charney Forum is the perfect hub to discuss all we have discussed now. It should bridge between Israel and other countries, sharing knowledge and experience in this field of new diplomacy. And new diplomacy should cover so many aspects that were tested now, like the new balance between government and NGOs, the notion of new philanthropy, which is outcome-based. I'm asking myself, how can we mobilize resources in a better, more efficient and larger scale than before? What role can individuals and organizations play in new diplomacy? The Charney Forum is just a natural place for that. The second point is the hybrid method of academia and practitioners. Academia must significantly open up to field practitioners and involve them in the vast practical experience in teaching and research. On the other hand, the academic institutions themselves should encourage their faculty to take active roles outside the ivory tower, not only as consultants, but in other relevant capacities. And I believe that the Charney Forum can spearhead the discussion on how to effectively push it further for the public good.